12 Zimbabwean creatives as well as 4 renowned content creators came together to collaborate on a project known as the Digital Conclave. Now, what is the Digital Conclave, you might ask? Stick around and you'll find out. But these creatives included filmmakers, they included social media influencers. That's influencer with a C, not influenza with a Z, because that's an entire different kind of worms. Now, they came together and they collaborated on this project, which was meant to create original digital content. And the results were, quite frankly, magical. But don't take my word for it. Stick around and watch the show. Ladies and gentlemen from around the world and behind the screen, welcome to yet another episode of the Scripts and Bars Show. What is the Scripts and Bars Show, you might be asking? Well, first of all, where have you been? We've been doing this. But secondly, the Scripts and Bars Show is just an episodic television show where we come through from your screen to let you know what's happening with the Scripts and Bars projects, the new developments and all the goings on that have been happening since the last episode. My name is Andrew Manyika, and continues to be Andrew Manyika because that's how names work. They have this continuity, but I digress. And I'm here to walk you through it. So what has happened in recent times? First of all, let me let you know what Scripts and Bars is. It is a digital content creation project that is produced in collaboration with many hubs both from the UK and Zimbabwe. So what is the Digital Conclave all about? Well, I'm glad you asked because I'm here with the answer. Now, the Digital Conclave is an enhanced mentorship program where Zimbabwean creatives are mentored by renowned content creators and social media influencers. And this is done with a view to supporting collaboration and partnerships. And you're going to find out a lot more if you stick around right here. The mentors for the Digital Conclave were a real list of heavy hitters because we had social media influencer and TikToker extraordinaire Michelle Natterville, as well as acclaimed writer and member of the production team behind the African sci-fi animation series Azania Rising, that is Musekiwa Samurio, and finally that was rounded off by a renowned radio personality, Ahmad. So those were the mentors, but their mentees came from across a wide variety of artistic disciplines. We had digital artists, we had visual artists, we had musical artists, we had, basically think of a type of artist, we had them. We had writers, poets, musicians, we had everyone that you can think of. So the artists that participated as mentees, as I've said, came from a variety of artistic disciplines, and they included Ronald Mtatabikwa, Mhle Nzima, Miriam Mushaikwa, Kina, Alfred Masunda, Rumbidzai Pasirai, Vuyelwa Kumalo, Valentine Bonde, Stewie La Sauvage, Michelle Tanya Moyo, Lennox Makurumize, and Chiedza Ruwodzi. Okay, so now you know who's who. You know who the mentors were in the one corner, and you know who the mentees or proteges, because I know words, were in the other corner. But what they had to do was to produce digital content, because that's what the Digital Conclave is all about. So they were split into 4 groups, given 4 weeks to produce 4 pieces of content. And at the end of this process, they were actually invited to a Twitter Spaces discussion. Now, the process itself actually largely took place via WhatsApp. And they were leveraging the power of these WhatsApp groups so that they could overcome the barriers of distance and time. So you see that you're forced to collaborate in a digital space and also to test your creative superpowers. The Twitter Spaces conversations really were taking the creatives through topics that are essential for the 21st century creative. The first of all was how to find your unique angle on social media. Secondly, they looked at DIY filmmaking for the 21st century creative. And then how to be an African writer within the digital age. And finally, how to leverage broadcasting for publicity. All of this culminated in the production of 2 songs, an animated video, as well as an audio book. But of course, you don't want to hear about all of this from me, so let's get on to the stables and hear it from the horse's mouth. See what I did there? I turned an expression on its head, because it's what I do. Come to my show. Right, so let's hear it from the mentors and the mentees themselves so that we can find out exactly what the experience was like of being part of the Digital Conclave.
So my role as a mentor I think it was really focused on helping the mentees work through and integrate the different aspects of the project. So you had three different sort of like crafts coming together, which would be animation, poetry, and the process of script writing. So I think my role was just to guide the process through, to see all three elements coming together in the right way.
With the Digital Conclave program, I had quite an interesting experience collaborating with a poet as well as a singer, and also like thinking into the theme and coming up with content that goes along with the theme, and as well getting some help from the banter, which like helped us like from the planning process to coming up with the finished product.
I think before the mentorship program, it was really hard to kind of find some of the information. So I've never written an ebook before, so it was a bit overwhelming. But actually our mentor, Caesar, was really like helpful, because she would like find the information for us. Sometimes it's like hard to find the information because there's so much out there, and knowing what actually works. So like that was really helpful that she would like find the information and say, okay, so guys, this is step one, this is what you guys need to do. So it was really nice.
So after all of that work, naturally the next step was for us to get to play, and we play in a very unique style over here at Scripts and Bars, because this culminated in the ArtHows Creative Hustle. What was the Creative Hustle? It was an event organized so that all the participants to the project, as well as other several dignitaries and hub leaders, could come together and see the progress that Scripts and Bars is making and what we're all about. So there were live performances, there were digital showcases, there were roundtable panel discussions, and of course, the culinary delights were partaken of. We got to feast, quite literally, on the works of the culinary masters. There was food, is what I'm saying in a nutshell. But before the actual feeding and feasting, we were treated to the vocal stylings of Tafewa Dinza, the poetic musings of Mr. Kuda Rice, and of course music producer Innocent Musamba was one of the many performers who kept us riveted on the night.
I know the price of pay. My accolades are sheets upon sheets, no paper. Attached to the ankle, praying for paper, but there's no paper. I keep at it on the grind, but nothing seems to bind.
Now let's hear what they had to say about their experience.
The most valuable insights I've taken from this creative hustle, mainly the power of collaborations and being able to put together work with different creatives within different fields that are apart from the field that you're used to, and just the power and the impact that comes from those collaborations.
I think the key highlights for me were seeing other creatives shine and also be amazing at what they do. I think the most humbling experience as an artist is also knowing that there are people who are just as good as you or even better than you. And it always creates that yearning, that want to keep on learning from your peers rather than sitting in the position of teacher and thinking that you're the only one who has something to give. So that is definitely something very humbling, and I will take that lesson with me.
My experience at this event, honestly, it was amazing. I was really blown away by the productions, several of them. But I think what was really more important that really spoke to me is how the elements of this project have just come together. And what I mean by that is when you are putting down a proposal and saying, okay, we're just going to focus on music and literature and really go into digital content creation because that's what we resonate with in terms of digitization, young people, urbanization, and we don't have the traditional infrastructure like performance space to be able to do certain things. The studios, we don't. So our default has become, the internet, and how young people have just managed to take it and run with it. And through this project, I think what has really made me proud is to see that in our own, way of working, how we collaborate with partners like K-Media, the SDC, to come up with a product or project that is actually relevant to Zimbabwe, Africa, and the UK. For me, that has been really amazing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of yet another episode of the Scripts and Bars show. Okay, why the long face? Don't worry, we'll be back. Just hold on. But I digress. Listen, this is a show where we keep you up to date on what's happening on the Scripts and Bars project, and we will continue doing that until the project is over, or the end of the world, one of the two. And you can continue catching more on Comexposed.com, that's our website, right here on the YouTube channel, which I will continue hijacking until I get my ransom candy. And of course, you can catch more details on our various social media platforms, which are in the description below. But until we meet again, my name will continue to be Andrew Manyika into the foreseeable future, and I hope to see you again very soon. Cheers and goodbye.